In the heart of a sun-scorched plain, where the wind sweeps across a landscape of brittle grasses and soil cracked by heat, a small figure stirs. Its ears rise like delicate antennae catching the faintest tremors of sound. Its nose twitches, drawing in the dry scent of dust and clover. To most eyes, it is a harmless symbol of innocence, soft, silent, unthreatening. But appearances can deceive. This is no fragile wanderer. This is the velvet tyrant. The rabbit, known to science as Eryctolagus cuniculus, and to countless human cultures simply as the rabbit, bunny, or hare, though those names often blur together. To children, it is a creature of storybooks and folklore, a trickster, a guide, a bringer of luck. To farmers, it has been both a pest and a source of food. And to ecologists, it represents one of the most paradoxical forces in the natural world, a species at once vulnerable and unstoppable, delicate and devastating. The rabbit is remarkable not for a single defining feature, but for a constellation of traits that together create a survival machine. Compact and lightweight, yet capable of explosive speed. Skittish and cautious, yet relentless in its reproduction. Innocent in appearance, yet unrivaled in its ecological impact when given the right conditions. These contradictions make the rabbit not only fascinating, but also dangerous, a creature whose very softness masks an empire in the making. Originally, rabbits were confined to a small corner of the world, the scrublands and forests of the Iberian Peninsula in what is now Spain and Portugal. Here, among the sun-baked hills and rocky soils, wild rabbits dug their warrens and thrived under the Mediterranean sun. For thousands of years, they remained a regional species, limited by geography and predators. But humans, ever restless travelers, changed that forever. Romans carried rabbits across Europe as a ready source of meat. Later, explorers and settlers transported them farther still, to islands, continents, and frontiers where they had never existed. Each time, the result was the same: a rapid spread, a sudden dominance. Today, rabbits inhabit nearly every continent, from the chilly fields of northern Europe to the vast drylands of Australia, from the pastures of South America to the forests of New Zealand. What was once a local species has become a global phenomenon. And everywhere they go, rabbits reshape the land in their image. To understand the rabbit's power, one must first appreciate its fragility. Rabbits are prey animals, targeted by an astonishing range of predators: foxes, eagles, hawks, snakes, wildcats, and even humans. Their bodies reflect this role: lightweight bones built for running, ears tuned to the faintest rustle of sound, eyes placed wide apart to scan almost an entire horizon without turning their heads. But yet what seems like weakness is in fact their greatest strength. Prey animals must adapt or perish, and rabbits have turned vulnerability into mastery. They do not rely on strength, but on speed. They do not resist death, but outpace it with sheer fertility. They are in essence a living paradox, fragile as individuals, but unstoppable as a species. Wherever they settle, rabbits create networks of burrows known as warrens, intricate labyrinths beneath the earth that offer shelter from predators, weather, and even wildfire. These underground fortresses are more than dens, they are the foundations of dynasties. Within them, females give birth to litter after litter, each new generation emerging into the world only to repeat the cycle. But these warrens, like the rabbits themselves, are shaped by the land. In Europe, they dot the heathlands and meadows, hidden among tall grasses. In Australia, they scar the open plains, multiplying until the soil itself collapses beneath their tunnels. In colder climates, they're nestled into banks of earth or under hedgerows, where snow provides insulation and concealment. Each environment leaves its mark on the rabbit, influencing its behavior, diet, and survival strategies. Seasons dictate the rhythm of a rabbit's life. In spring, when fields flush green with new growth, rabbits enter a frenzy of breeding. A single female, or doe, may give birth to dozens of young in a single year, each capable of reproducing within months. By summer, warrens echo with life, young rabbits venturing above ground to nibble tender shoots under the watchful eye of hawks circling overhead. Autumn brings scarcity, and rabbits turn to tougher plants, bark, roots, dry stems. In winter, survival becomes a daily gamble. Snow conceals food, predators grow desperate, and every shadow may conceal a hunter. Yet the rabbit endures, adapting its diet, digging deeper burrows, huddling for warmth. It does not conquer seasons through strength, but through persistence. At first glance, the rabbit seems almost unworthy of a grand narrative. Too small, too common, too familiar. But it is precisely this familiarity that blinds us to its significance. Because beneath its velvety exterior lies a force of nature, one that has shaped ecosystems, devastated continents, and defied every attempt at control. This is not the tale of a meek little herbivore. This is the story of an empire built on softness, of a tyrant cloaked in velvet. But to understand this creature's resilience, its unstoppable reign, we must first explore the world it calls home. To understand the rabbit's unstoppable reign, we must descend into the world it inhabits. A world shaped as much by soil and sky as by tooth and claw. The rabbit is not just a creature of fields and meadows. It is an architect of landscapes, a neighbor to countless species, and at times, a destroyer of balance. Its story cannot be told without first exploring the stage upon which it performs. Rabbits thrive in transitional landscapes, those borderlands where grassland meets forest, where scrub melts into farmland, where open space offers food and nearby cover offers refuge. They are creatures of the edge, and edges are where life often flourishes most. In their native Iberian peninsula, rabbits dug into dry, sandy soils beneath the sparse cover of Mediterranean shrubs. The climate here is unforgiving. Summers are blistering, winters cool and damp. Yet the vegetation, tough grasses, aromatic herbs, scattered oaks, provides both nourishment and concealment. For millennia, rabbits flourished here, balanced by predators and the limits of their environment. But transported beyond their homeland, rabbits proved astonishingly adaptable. In northern Europe, they took to rolling meadows and hedge-lined fields, burrowing under the shelter of ancient hedgerows. In Australia, they spread across vast semi-arid plains, where their warrens honeycombed the soil and their appetites stripped the land bare. In New Zealand, they gnawed through pastures that farmers depended upon, their presence felt in every blade of grass. Wherever the soil is soft enough to dig and the vegetation steady enough to sustain, rabbits build their empires. A rabbit's home is not simply a hole in the ground, it is a fortress. Warrens may extend dozens of meters with multiple entrances, chambers, and escape routes. Some warrens are communal, housing dozens of rabbits, a society hidden beneath the soil. Within these tunnels, air is cooler in summer, warmer in winter, and safer year-round. Predators may prowl the surface, but underground, the rabbit rules. These warrens also reshape the land. By digging, rabbits aerate the soil, allowing water to seep deeper. Abandoned burrows become homes for reptiles, birds, and insects. In moderation, their tunneling can enrich an ecosystem. But when their numbers explode,
The very ground collapses under their relentless excavation, turning fields into cratered wastelands. As herbivores, rabbits are tied to the cycles of plant life. They graze primarily on grasses and herbs, but their diet extends to leaves, bark, buds, and crops. Unlike many herbivores, rabbits possess a digestive system that extracts every last ounce of nutrition from poor-quality vegetation. Through a process known as coprophagy, they re-ingest partially digested material to harvest nutrients a second time, a remarkable adaptation to survival in nutrient-scarce environments. This relentless feeding shapes the plant communities they inhabit. In balanced ecosystems, rabbits prune back grasses, encouraging new growth. They disperse seeds through their droppings, helping regenerate vegetation. But unchecked, their appetite becomes devastating, stripping landscapes to bare soil, preventing regrowth, and destabilizing entire ecosystems. No species exists in isolation, and the rabbit story is entwined with the creatures around it. Above ground, predators patrol. Foxes stalk warrens at dusk, pouncing upon unwary juveniles. Raptors circle from high above, their keen eyes detecting the faintest twitch of movement. Snakes slip into burrow entrances, forcing panicked rabbits into the open where death awaits. But rabbits are more than prey. Their presence feeds entire food chains. Populations of birds of prey, such as Spain's iconic Iberian lynx or the imperial eagle, depend heavily on rabbits for sustenance. Where rabbits decline, these predators falter. Where rabbits thrive, so do the hunters that pursue them. But rabbits also compete. In Australia, their explosive numbers deprive native marsupials like the bilby and bandicoot of food and shelter. Grazing livestock clash with rabbit hordes for every blade of grass, leaving pastures barren. What begins as coexistence can quickly spiral into conflict. In ecological terms, the rabbit is a keystone species, small in size but immense in influence. Its digging alters soil. Its feeding alters vegetation. Its presence sustains predators. Its absence destabilizes entire webs of life. This duality is striking. In their native range, rabbits are essential. Remove them, and predators starve, grasses overgrow, and landscapes shift unnaturally. Yet, in places where they are invasive, their influence is catastrophic. Fields erode, native plants vanish, and delicate ecosystems unravel. The rabbit is both gardener and tyrant, builder and destroyer. Nature is rarely simple. The same rabbit that supports lynx in Spain threatens kangaroos in Australia. The same warren that shelters a snake destabilizes a farmer's field. The same appetite that prunes grasslands to renewal can turn them into deserts when unchecked. This fragile balance reveals a deeper truth. The rabbit's reign is not defined solely by its biology, but by the ecosystems it inhabits, and by the humans who alter those ecosystems. When conditions align in their favor, rabbits cease to be background characters. They seize the stage, and the landscape itself becomes their dominion. But survival here is never simple. The land itself can be as much a predator as any living creature. And as the seasons turn, the rabbit must adapt to challenges far greater than tooth or claw.
At first glance, the rabbit seems almost ordinary. A small bundle of fur with twitching ears and timid eyes. But look closer, and every part of its body reveals the architecture of survival. Each detail, from its teeth to its muscles, is finely tuned to a life of perpetual vigilance. To be a rabbit is to live on the edge of danger, and its very anatomy is a testament to that existence. The rabbit's most distinctive feature lies at the very front, its teeth, sharp, chisel-like incisors that never stop growing, lengthening at a rate of nearly 3 millimeters each week. To prevent overgrowth, the rabbit must gnaw constantly, turning bark, stems, and even roots into tools of dental maintenance. What seems like a weakness, the burden of perpetual growth, is in fact a weapon of persistence. Nothing in its environment is safe from its bite. Its ears, too, are marvels of design. Long, thin, and mobile, they function as satellite dishes, swiveling independently to capture the faintest rustle in the grass. A rabbit can hear sounds up to 2 miles away, detecting predators before they even break the horizon. Those ears also serve as radiators, regulating body temperature in the heat of summer by releasing excess warmth through a network of blood vessels. The rabbit's eyes are positioned high and wide on its skull, granting nearly panoramic vision. It can see almost all the way around its body, a living radar system. Only a small blind spot exists directly in front of its nose and just behind its head, and even there, its other senses compensate. And then there are the legs. Built like coiled springs, the hind limbs contain powerful muscles capable of launching a rabbit into sudden bursts of speed, up to 45 miles per hour in some species. Their escape is not a straight sprint, but a dance of unpredictability. Zigzagging leaps, sharp turns, and sudden stops designed to confuse and outmaneuver predators.
Survival is not about winning battles, but about never being caught. If teeth, ears, and legs are obvious adaptations, the rabbit's digestive system hides a subtler one. Living on a diet of grasses and fibrous plants is no easy feat. Nutrients are locked within tough cellulose. To unlock them, rabbits employ a remarkable strategy known as coprophagy, re-ingesting their own specialized droppings called secretropes. These soft pellets are rich in vitamins and proteins, the result of microbial fermentation within the rabbit's hindgut. By consuming them, rabbits pass food through their system twice, extracting nearly every nutrient. What appears unseemly is in reality a masterstroke of efficiency, the reason rabbits can thrive on diets that would starve many other animals. The life of a rabbit follows the sun's edges. Dawn and dusk are their hours of movement, when shadows conceal them from hawks overhead and foxes still linger in the dark. At these times, they emerge from their burrows, ears pricked, noses twitching, scanning the world before venturing onto open ground. They graze methodically, clipping grasses close to the earth, pausing at every sound. A single alarm thump, a powerful strike of a hind foot against the soil, can send an entire warren diving underground. Safety lies not only in vigilance, but in communication. Midday is for rest. The heat of the sun drives rabbits back into their burrows, where cool earth shelters them. There, they groom obsessively, combing their fur with sharp claws and tongues, removing parasites, aligning hairs, and maintaining the silky coat that protects them from weather and predators alike. As twilight falls again, the cycle repeats. To be a rabbit is to live in constant motion, feeding, hiding, watching, running, a rhythm dictated not by choice, but by necessity. Contrary to the image of the solitary hare bounding across a field, many rabbit species live in structured societies. Within large warrens, dozens of individuals may coexist, bound by a delicate hierarchy. Dominant males or bucks defend access to females, chasing rivals through underground tunnels in chaotic sprints. Dominant females, or does, control the safest nesting chambers, ensuring their young have the greatest chance of survival. This social order reduces conflict within the group, though tensions are never far beneath the surface. Fights break out, fur flies, and sharp claws rake thin skin, but dominance ensures stability. Within these societies, rabbits benefit from collective vigilance. Dozens of eyes, ears, and noses scanning the world above, ready to signal danger. In more solitary regions, rabbits adapt differently. Some dig modest burrows for small families, others shelter beneath hedgerows or thickets. Whether in groups or alone, their lives remain tied to the same instincts: to breed, to feed, to flee. Perhaps the most defining behavior of rabbits is their relentless drive to reproduce. A single doe can produce several litters a year, each containing 4 to 12 kits. These young are born blind and helpless, tucked into nests lined with fur pulled from their mother's own body. Growth is rapid. Within weeks, kits open their eyes, leave the nest, and begin foraging. Within months, they too are capable of breeding. This astonishing pace of reproduction ensures that no matter how many fall to predators, disease, or hunger, the population endures. It is here that the rabbit's true tyranny emerges, not through strength, not through ferocity, but through sheer numbers. A tide of life that rises again and again, drowning any attempt to hold it back. Each adaptation, the ever-growing teeth, the vigilant ears, the explosive legs, the efficient gut, the structured societies, tells the story of a species designed not to dominate directly, but to persist, multiply, and overwhelm. The rabbit is a creature optimized for survival through abundance, its very biology pushing it toward expansion. Individually, a rabbit may be fragile, easily caught, easily killed. But collectively, they form an unstoppable force, their survival written not in the fate of the one, but in the destiny of the many. Yet the most fascinating part of this creature's life is not in the way it looks, but in the way it moves through the rhythm of the seasons. For the rabbit, time itself is both an ally and an enemy, a cycle of abundance and scarcity, challenge and renewal that shapes its reign across the wild.
For the rabbit, life is not lived in steady comfort. It is measured instead in cycles of feast and famine, of warmth and frost, of abundance and peril. Every season brings both opportunity and threat. To understand the rabbit's true mastery of survival, we must follow it through the turning of the year, from the blossoming of spring to the hunger of winter. With the first thaw, the earth softens. Shoots of green push through the soil, a banquet laid at ground level. For the rabbit, spring is a time of both nourishment and urgency. Does begin to dig nursery burrows, shallow chambers lined with fur plucked from their own bellies. Here, blind and fragile kits are born. In the safety of darkness, they grow rapidly, fueled by the richness of their mother's milk.
Above ground, danger never wanes. Foxes, stoats, and birds of prey prowl constantly, drawn by the easy meal of young rabbits venturing from their burrows too soon. To compensate, rabbits rely on sheer numbers. While many fall, enough survive to continue the cycle. Spring is not merely a season of growth, it is the rabbit's declaration of persistence. Each litter is a message to the world: we will endure. As the sun climbs higher, grasses and herbs blanket the landscape. Food is everywhere, and rabbits take full advantage. They feed in the twilight hours, their bellies filling with lush vegetation. Their digestive system works at full efficiency, cycling nutrients twice through the body, ensuring every ounce of energy is extracted. But summer also brings heat, and with it, new dangers. Parasites thrive. Fleas, ticks, and flies torment rabbits, spreading diseases that can sweep through populations like fire. To cope, rabbits retreat underground during the day, where cool earth shields them from both the sun and swarming insects. Predators, too, are most active in this season of abundance. Owls hunt beneath the cover of darkness, hawks patrol the skies, and foxes prowl the edges of fields. Yet the rabbit's ears and legs, sharpened by generations of pressure, give them just enough edge to survive. Each chase is a coin toss between life and death, and survival belongs to the swift. By autumn, the days grow shorter, the air crisp with the scent of fallen leaves. Food remains plentiful, but time presses against the rabbit's survival clock. The urgency of reproduction slows. The focus now turns to building reserves and reinforcing burrows. Young rabbits, now strong enough to fend for themselves, disperse across the land, seeking territories and mates. This dispersal is both a blessing and a curse. It spreads the population wide, ensuring survival beyond a single habitat, but it also exposes individuals to the dangers of open ground, where predators lie in wait. Autumn is also the season of storms. Heavy rains flood burrows, collapsing tunnels and drowning litters. In response, rabbits dig new chambers higher up, constantly reshaping their underground fortresses. It is an endless battle against the elements, but one they are born to fight. When winter arrives, the rabbit faces its greatest trial. The green banquet of summer is gone, replaced by frozen soil and barren fields. Grasses wither, herbs vanish, and snow blankets the world in silence. To survive, rabbits adapt their diet, gnawing bark from shrubs, stripping twigs of their meager nourishment, and digging through snow to find the last traces of withered vegetation. Their teeth, always growing, remain sharp tools even in scarcity. Winter also magnifies the threat of predators. With food scarce for all, foxes, coyotes, and raptors hunt relentlessly. The white landscape offers little cover, and the rabbit's brown coat becomes a liability. Some species, like the snowshoe hare, transform their fur into ghostly white, vanishing against the snow. Others rely only on speed and vigilance, knowing that a single mistake is fatal. Burrows once again become sanctuaries. In the frozen earth, rabbits huddle together for warmth, sharing body heat in tight chambers. Grooming becomes a social ritual, strengthening bonds while keeping fur in prime condition. Still, hunger gnaws at their resilience, and winter's toll is heavy. Many will not survive until spring. Across every season, predators remain the constant force shaping the rabbit's behavior. The golden eagle's dive, the silent glide of the owl, the cunning stalk of the fox, each demands vigilance. The rabbit's strategy is not confrontation, but evasion. Its zigzag leaps confuse attackers, its thundering footstamp warns companions, and its endless reproduction ensures that even in loss, the species endures. Predators may take individuals, but they cannot erase the tide. Yet predators are not the only challenge. Disease stalks the rabbit as surely as any hunter. Myxomatosis, a viral plague introduced in the 20th century to control populations, devastated entire regions, leaving millions dead in waves of suffering. More recently, rabbit hemorrhagic disease has emerged, spreading rapidly and cutting populations by half or more in some areas. Unlike foxes or hawks, these enemies cannot be outrun. Rabbits endure not through speed, but through numbers and resilience. A grim reminder that survival is often written in blood. What emerges through these seasonal trials is a portrait of resilience. The rabbit does not dominate through strength or size, nor does it wield venom or claws. Instead, it survives through adaptability, through reproduction, and through the simple, stubborn will to endure. Each season reshapes it. Spring brings renewal, summer abundance, autumn dispersal, winter hunger. Each predator sharpens it. Each disease tests it. The rabbit's story is one of eternal struggle and eternal return. But no challenge is greater than the one brought by humankind. For while predators and seasons test the rabbit, humans transform the very world it depends on.
Through ice and storm, through predator and plague, the rabbit has endured. Yet its greatest trials and its greatest triumphs have not come from nature itself. They come from humankind. No other force has shaped the rabbit's destiny so profoundly, turning it from humble grazer to velvet tyrant, from symbol of fragility to an unstoppable conqueror. For thousands of years, rabbits have lived alongside us. In their native Iberian peninsula, they were a resource, hunted for meat and fur, raised in enclosures by Romans, and eventually domesticated into the countless breeds we know today. Monks in medieval Europe even found a peculiar loophole. Unborn rabbits, still in the womb, were classified as fish and permitted during Lent, binding the species further to human culture. But while rabbits were valued as food and symbols of fertility, their relationship with humans was never one of simple partnership. With every ship we sailed, every colony we built, rabbits often followed, sometimes deliberately, sometimes by accident. And wherever they went, they left their mark. No story illustrates this more powerfully than that of Australia. In 1859, a man named Thomas Austin released just 24 European rabbits onto his estate in Victoria, intending to recreate the hunting traditions of his homeland. It was an act that seemed harmless, even charming. Yet within a few decades, those 24 had multiplied into hundreds of millions. Australia's delicate ecosystem, with no native predators to keep rabbit numbers in check, buckled under the onslaught. Vast grasslands were stripped bare, crops devoured overnight, and fragile soils eroded into dust. Native marsupials, birds, and reptiles, many already vulnerable, found themselves competing with an invader that never stopped eating, never stopped breeding. By the early 20th century, the rabbit plague was catastrophic. Farmers lost livelihoods, wildlife declined, and entire landscapes were transformed. Australia fought back with fences stretching thousands of kilometers designed to pen in the tide. But rabbits dug beneath, climbed over, or simply found the end and poured through. The most infamous was the rabbit-proof fence of Western Australia, a barrier intended to protect fertile lands from the east. It became a symbol of human desperation and ultimately human futility. When fences failed, other weapons were unleashed. In the 1950s, the myxoma virus was introduced, a biological agent designed to devastate rabbit populations. It worked with brutal efficiency at first, killing over 90% of infected rabbits. But the triumph was temporary. Evolution favored survivors, and within decades, rabbits had developed resistance. Next came rabbit hemorrhagic disease, RHD, spreading swiftly through populations and cutting their numbers dramatically. For a time, it seemed victory was within reach. Yet again, rabbits adapted. Resistance grew, and outbreaks weakened. The battle became a grim cycle, each human innovation answered by rabbit resilience. The toll of the rabbit's reign is staggering. In Australia alone, the agricultural losses are estimated in billions of dollars. Native plants, gnawed to stubs, fail to regenerate. Soil, stripped of vegetation, blows away in choking dust storms. Species like the greater bilby and the burrowing bettong teeter on the edge of extinction, their habitats overrun. And yet, paradoxically, in their native lands, rabbits have faced the opposite fate. In Spain and Portugal, the introduction of disease to control rabbit numbers also struck wild populations, leaving predators like the Iberian lynx and Spanish imperial eagle starving. Here, conservationists fight not to eradicate rabbits, but to restore them, recognizing that entire ecosystems depend upon their presence. The rabbit is both pest and keystone, villain and victim, depending entirely on where it stands. Today, human efforts to manage rabbit populations are as diverse as the landscapes they occupy. In Australia, research continues into more effective biological controls alongside land management practices that restore vegetation and limit rabbit breeding grounds. Farmers combine traditional methods, hunting, poisoning, trapping, with modern science, recognizing that no single solution can halt an animal so adaptable. In Europe, conservationists work in the opposite direction. They breed and release rabbits to bolster declining populations, restore warrens, and vaccinate against disease. Programs in Spain specifically focus on maintaining healthy rabbit numbers as a lifeline for lynxes and eagles, linking the fate of predator and prey in a delicate chain. Globally, the rabbit also persists as a domesticated companion. Millions live as pets, their soft fur and gentle demeanor making them beloved across cultures. These tamed descendants serve as a reminder of the rabbit's dual identity, the wild tyrant and the velvet companion. The story of the rabbit's interaction with humanity is not just one of survival, but of unintended consequences. What began as an act of nostalgia in Australia became an ecological nightmare. What began as pest control in Europe became a crisis for predators. The rabbit teaches us a truth as sharp as its teeth. Ecosystems are fragile tapestries. Pull a single thread, and the whole can unravel. Introduce one species to a new land, and the balance tips beyond repair. Release a virus in desperation, and the chain of life shifts in ways we cannot predict. And yet, the rabbit also embodies resilience. It is a reminder that life, once unleashed, is not easily contained. As we face a century of environmental upheaval, the rabbit saga holds a lesson for us all. Human action can empower, devastate, or restore. The choice lies not in the rabbit, but in ourselves. If we act with care, we can protect both the landscapes where rabbits belong and those where they must be restrained. If we act without foresight, we will repeat the mistakes of the past. Mistakes written in dust storms, collapsing warrens, and silent forests. In the end, the fate of this creature will depend not on its strength, but on ours.
The rabbit's story is not one of simple survival. It is a story of paradox, of fragility and dominance, of vulnerability and conquest. From the sunburned plains of Australia to the oak woodlands of Spain, from farmland hedgerows to suburban gardens, this small creature has left an imprint far larger than its delicate frame would suggest. At first glance, the rabbit seems harmless, a ball of fur, a twitching nose, eyes wide with innocence. It is a creature that children cradle, that cultures celebrate as symbols of fertility, gentleness, and renewal. This is the velvet, the softness that disarms us, the guise of fragility. But beneath that softness lies a relentless engine of survival. Teeth that never stop growing, stomachs that harvest every shred of nutrition, bodies designed for flight, and a reproductive strategy so explosive it overwhelms entire continents. This is the tyrant, not by malice, but by design, a conqueror cloaked in innocence. It is this duality that makes the rabbit extraordinary. To see it as prey is to miss half the story. To see it only as pest is to miss the rest. The rabbit is both, the foundation of ecosystems and their undoing, a keystone and a curse. Every ecosystem is a web, strands woven by plants, predators, prey, soil, and water. The rabbit is one of those threads, but a thread under tension. In its native lands, its presence sustains balance, feeding lynxes, trimming grasses, and aerating soils. In new lands, that same presence unravels the weave, toppling the balance entirely. This truth reveals something profound about nature. No creature exists in isolation. The rabbit's power comes not from itself alone, but from the networks it inhabits. Remove it from one, and the web collapses. Introduce it to another, and the web tears apart. The rabbit is both proof of nature's resilience and evidence of its fragility. The story of the rabbit and humankind is also the story of unintended consequence. When Thomas Austin released 24 rabbits in Australia, he could not have foreseen that they would multiply into a plague that reshaped an entire continent. When European scientists introduced myxomatosis to control them, they could not have foreseen that predators depending on rabbits would starve, or that the animals themselves would evolve resistance. At every turn, the rabbit reflects our own actions back to us, magnified in ways we never expected. It reminds us that when we tamper with the balance of life, even the smallest creatures can become forces of unstoppable change. The lesson is not that rabbits are villains. It is that ecosystems are delicate and our role within them is heavy with consequence. There is perhaps no other animal so widely loved and so deeply loathed. As pets, rabbits are cherished companions, hopping softly across living rooms, their ears stroked by gentle hands. In the wild, they are pursued with rifles, poisoned, fenced, and cursed as destroyers of land. In conservation, they are bred and protected, their warrens restored for the sake of endangered predators. To hold both images in mind, the beloved pet and the ecological tyrant, is to understand the rabbit in its fullness. It is not a villain nor a victim. It is a survivor, perfectly adapted to a world that is always changing, often because of us. Perhaps this is the true heart of the rabbit's story. Survival does not always belong to the strong, the fierce, or the cunning. Sometimes it belongs to the quiet, the overlooked, the underestimated. The rabbit does not roar, it does not strike, it does not dominate through strength. It simply endures, and in enduring, it reigns. Its unstoppable reign is not one of power in the traditional sense, but of persistence. Against predators, against plagues, against fences and fire and human wrath, the rabbit survives, and in survival, it shapes the world around it. The rabbit's journey is a mirror held up to humanity. It shows us how easily balance can tip, how profoundly small actions can ripple across landscapes and centuries. It warns us of the dangers of arrogance, believing we can control life without consequence. But it also inspires, reminding us of the tenacity that underpins existence itself. We share this earth with countless creatures whose stories are just as complex, whose roles are just as vital. The rabbit is but one, yet in its duality, it captures a truth about life on this planet. Survival is not neat, not simple, not fair. It is messy, paradoxical, and endlessly resilient.
Picture the rabbit one last time. A lone figure in twilight, ears alert, nose twitching in the fading light. Around it, the land bears the mark of its presence. Grasses clipped, burrows dug, predators circling above. Fragile, yet unbroken. Vulnerable, yet victorious. The velvet tyrant, the unstoppable reign. The wild does not ask for our help, yet without it, the wild will fade, and with it, a part of ourselves. The rabbit's story is not just its own, it is also ours. A reminder that even the gentlest creatures can hold the power to change the world.